This is the Engage Your Destiny podcast, where your destiny is our mission. Serving our active military, veterans, and families. Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Engage Your Destiny podcast. I'm Ben Peterson, the founder and CEO of Engage Your Destiny. It is such an honor that you would take your time to listen to this podcast and to run with us. And we have an anthem that we say at Engage Your Destiny, which is "We Go Together." And I want to invite you into our brotherhood, into our family of going together by going and supporting us at engageyourdestiny.org. We are supporting and we are ministering to our military all over the world that are deployed and going into some of the darkest places you can imagine to fight for freedom. So if you would, go to engageyourdestiny.org and support our mission. All right, let's get into part 2 of Jimmy May's story, which is going to absolutely touch your heart, move your heart, and inspire you. Let's get after it. You know, one of the elements for a lot of trauma and PTSD care is what's called psychodrama. And it's reliving the moments of the trauma and going back to the original hurt.
Yeah.
And so, you know, in that moment, you were in a combat zone, but like you were reliving out the moment that you had before. And it's almost
the
like
day after.
You're entering right back into it.
It's inoculation.
And how often in life do we need to go, if you were hurt by your dad, you need to go and love your dad, connect with we have to go back to the hurt.
Yeah. Well, I did it right away, and it was good for me. And you talked about reliving things. I never relived a specific situation, but for years I've had dreams. They've stopped, but it was this version of the dream. And I'll tell you how it stopped too, which is, this is divine intervention 100%.
Yeah.
It would be some version of this. We will make entry.
In your dream?
In my dream. We make entry, I come through, the bad guy is shooting the guys behind me. They're just getting mowed. I happen to make it past a barrage. I go to shoot, click, primary fails. Secondary, boom, that fails. I come up, I run to hit them, and it's like nothing's affecting. They're just sitting there shooting the guys behind me. And like that dream happened. It was some variant of that. Years. I wake up, I hated that dream.
And you couldn't make the impact.
I couldn't. It was just like I was hitting you underwater, and they would like look at me and just keep shooting the guys. And I'm just like hitting them and
shooting your guys.
Shooting guys behind me, my guys. And it was just like this sick feeling. I hated it. I wake up, I just hated that dream. And it happened for years and years until 2020. I had a dream. I was in bed with my son, who was like 4 or 5, I think he was 5, and we're holding hands, and this these claws, this white, super bright thing grabs me, and when it's flying, it's like it's lifting me off the ground, and it didn't hurt, but it was just I could feel the wind just coming over me, every single flap, lifting me, and I let go. My son wasn't scared either. He was just, I could see him. I'm like 300, feet off the ground now, and I can see him looking up at me. And I can't look at the thing because it's too bright. And I remember I felt very comfortable, and I told the thing, I'm like, hey, I have to go back to him. And the thing said to me, and it chokes me up still, it says, "You've done well." And it set me back down. And I've never had that bad dream again since then. And I talked to different psychs about that, and they're like, well, people go to do psychedelics to have that happen to them. Wow. To have that, because it was so powerful and so real to me. It was.
Where was
years later?
Where was your faith at when that dream happened?
It was not in a good spot.
Yeah.
I'd say it's been just the last year or so when I've really come back, and it's been a hard journey.
Do you think that was a divine angel?
I do.
Something?
I do. I think I was really struggling with that dream, and I think that was God's way of telling me, like, hey, you need to let it go.
What do you think?
I believed it then too. I believed it was divine then.
Right. You've done well. What does that mean to you?
To me, that's all it said. But you know how like when they say things in a dream, you get a lot more meaning from it.
Yeah.
It meant you did the best you could. Like, you don't have to be ashamed. Wow. Because I still teach combat leadership to teams to this day. Yeah. In fact, I think next week I'm teaching. And when they made me start doing it in 2011, and I hated it because I felt like my combat career wasn't that great. I've had a lot of it, but a lot of it didn't go well. And I just didn't want to be judged by my peers. I didn't want to talk about those things.
Yeah.
And you know what? They were so good to me. I said my piece, and you screwed up. But I've never it was a really good thing that I started doing that, and I still do it to this day.
So when you say you screwed up or that your combat didn't go well, like from my perspective or all the people listening, like you're a Navy SEAL, you've done things that we've never done. Like how did it not go well?
Well, if I make the wrong call and you get shot, if you make the wrong call, did I train you wrong?
So you had guys get shot.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean that Ramadi deployment we had, what do we have? 30, so 32 of us, 16 Purple Hearts. So half of us got hit and 3 were killed. And
So you lost 3 guys under your command.
they were not under my command. They were under Jock. That was Jocko's task unit.
Right.
But yes, on ops that I was on,
3 team
calls
members.
that I made, we've had people. Yeah, I was on the Mikey Mansour op that, I carried Mikey out myself.
And what happened? Like, take me through that night.
Okay, so that one was, we were doing sniper overwatch. It was still Team 3. I stayed in Team 5's deployment. When I got shot, it was with Team 5. So Team 3, we had to set up, the Army was doing an operation called Kentucky Jump, where they put barbed wire across this route to slow the flow of IEDs. That's improvised explosive devices.
Yeah.
If I speak in acronyms, hit me, because I do it.
You're doing good.
Yeah. Anyway, we were supposed to be sniper overwatch. So as the Army puts that barbed wire across and bad guys come, we're supposed to shoot the bad guys. It's a pretty common op for us. So we had 2 different positions. They were about, I don't know, a quarter mile away in another house where they had a good sniper range. We're mutually supporting, which means our job, it not only is to shoot bad guys, but to keep an eye on their house so no one can get next to it. Well, there was a blind spot on the other side of it. Someone came up there and hooked a grenade on the roof, which Mikey jumped on. Like that thing, I mean, when I got to the blast site, because basically when it hit him all through like the neck and the chest.
So the grenade came
Yeah,
up
they threw it on the roof.
and he saw it. And were there other team guys around him?
Yes. So square roof, we got a team guy facing either way. Mikey's in the middle. It's a center fed roof, which means the stairwell comes up the middle. So when that grenade came on, Mikey could have jumped down the stairs and saved himself. None of us would fault him for that. You would probably argue that's what we should do. Instead, he saw the grenade and he went to pick it up. And when he did, it blasted. And he saved the guys, all 3 of them. There were 2 on the other side and 1 behind. He saved their lives and probably our lives too, because when he ate the bulk of that, the other 2 guys were pretty messed up. The other guy didn't get hit because Mikey ate all that frag. So he, Benny is his name, patched the guys up as best he could. One of the guys that got hit called us, one of the toughest guys I know, Mike Sorelli, calls and he's like, "Hey, Mikey's hit. We need you guys down here." So we had to fight our way through the streets. I couldn't get the Iraqi out of the house. I had him by the front of, because Stoner, he's dead too now. Stoner was like, "Hey," he's like, "Get the Iraqis." So I'm telling them, and it's like putting a cat in a bathtub, man. They got the hands on and I'm pulling them. They ain't coming. So I ran back.
This is the
to
interpreter.
street. Yeah, no, this is the rest of Iraqi. You have a Iraqi partner for us.
Right.
Yeah, they're supposed to come help you. They weren't working.
No.
So there was just four SEALs on either side of the street. We fought our way up the street, and as we got pinned down so bad, I'm behind like a 10-inch tall thing of rubble, just like trying to like melt into the concrete because the bullets were coming over us. And all of a sudden, I hear this big gun light off, like pop, 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 but I don't hear bullets pinging around me. So I stuck my head up. It was Benny. Benny had picked up Mikey's gun, and he had just like laying it down. That cover fire is how we got to the house. If Benny was hit, I don't think we wouldn't have made it. There's no way. So Mikey jumped on that grenade. He got the Medal of Honor for it.
And you got up there, and was he gone by the time you got there?
He was making this weird gurgly noise. So he had like all this stuff in his throat. And like, I remember I wiped down to see what was going on and all these holes, but it filled back up with blood. And the guys were still fighting. I was trying to tend to him. And then Stoner was like, "Hey, get Mikey." So I was big and strong back then. I hooked him on my shoulder and I ran as far as I could. And then I ran out. I mean, because you carry, the least I've ever carried on op is 81 pounds. The most I've carried is 139. So he's a 200-pound dude. He's got a bunch of stuff too. So I handed off what I could.
You're carrying 280, 300 pounds.
You're carrying 400 pounds. You got 100 pounds on me plus 300 pounds on him. We handed off what I could for him. And I got so tired, I ended up just drugging him to the streets. And, we got to an extract platform, I'd say probably a quarter mile. We put him in there. And then I was the most exhausted I've ever been in my life. And I remember I was just trying to breathe. And with the other guys that were shot up, but not too bad, was like, "Hey, do CPR." I was like, "Oh, sorry." It was like, snapped me out of it. I was really embarrassed about that. I just zoned out for a minute. And then I went back to try and do CPR. And I remember it was just like bits of I would do it and it's cracking because his chest is all, and then I'd go to put a breath in and then, all the stuff would come out. I was like, wait, does that breath count? I don't know. You're supposed to look for rise and fall in the chest, but all the bubbles come out of the chest. And I just did that, which CPR is exhausting. And I did it in the back of this Bradley, just burning to the streets of Ramadi trying to do CPR. And when they dumped me out, I remember I was just like sitting there so exhausted, so tired. That's the tiredest I've ever been.
And again, no prayers.
No.
No faith. No thought of God.
Because if someone's going to get us, I have to do it. That's how I felt.
If someone's going to get this done,
It's going to, yep.
God's not going to help me.
Yep. That's where I was.
That's where you were.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you're teaching SEALs, but you also got into DevGru, which is, for people who don't know, that's SEAL Team 6.
Okay.
What does it take to get to the most elite team in the world?
I didn't get to do what I wanted to do there. I was in I can't get too detailed there.
Sure.
But I was working for a different squadron. It was great. Like, honestly, I learned a ton. I met some of the best people I've met in life, including mentors I still talk to this day. But it wasn't the right fit for me at the time. So I asked to leave and they sent me back to the white side. Yeah.
But isn't there a higher level of testing to get into that team?
Yeah, you have to pass some stuff. There's like a whole green team selection process. Yeah.
Got it. And then that'll push you, because I mean, you're competing with other SEALs to get into that position.
Yeah, it's a difficult course.
It's a difficult course. There's only so much that can be said. So you go through that experience. When did you know that your time in the teams was wrapping up?
So I was on my sixth deployment when I was running the Mosul fight. So now I'm the deputy commander of all special operations forces in Iraq and Syria.
And what year is this?
This is 2017.
Okay.
And so in my mind, I'm like, there's no one here that can tell me I can't go on op. I can go on with as many ops as I want. I love ops. I love it. So I get over there and I remember I got 1,400 people working for me from 11 different nations. Wow. And I remember I'm like, I'm going on op. And the boss said, why are you going on op? I'm like, hey, I got to go see what's going on with this, whatever song and dance I put together. So I remember I got in the truck and I show up and the guys are like, they're working. And I'm like, hey, what am I doing, guys? And they're like, oh, just sit right there, sir. I'm like, no, like, I want to help. What can I do? And like, it's okay, sir. We got it. And I was like, oh, your boss's boss just showed up. You don't want me on this off. It's like, it seems like it should be common sense, but it wasn't for me. And all of a sudden I realized, I'm not value added. I'm actually in the way.
I'm in the way.
So I did like 1 or 2 ops, but I went back and did my job, which was to run it's a stupid admin job. I ran special forces in Iraq and Syria, but I wanted to be an operator again. But that's when it hit me. I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And then my body fell apart after that too.
What is it? I mean, 1,400 people, is that 1,400 operators?
Not just operators. Okay. No, actually the minority is operators. Each operator, I think if I had to design it, I'd say 1 operator to 10 support personnel is about right.
Yeah.
It's probably not quite that good it's probably like maybe 1 to 5, 1 to 6, but 1 to 10 is the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so as you're overseeing dozens of teams.
Yep. Different countries and everything.
Are you aware of every single operation that's taking place amongst all those teams?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So my boss, I was a deputy. But he had to go home for a while, so I was the commander for a bit. But I'm a super junior for that position. They let me put on a higher rank just to take it because I wasn't enough rank to do it.
Wow.
And this was run by MARSOC, the Marine Special Operations.
Yeah.
They're very rank conscious.
Yeah.
Where we aren't.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went over there. I had a great relationship with them, great deployment with them. But those ops were approved by us.
Wow.
So, I knew of every operation that was going down. In different countries, like most countries can't do very much. Like they aren't doing offensive ops. Most countries are doing, I don't know. I don't want to talk bad about some countries, but they were just there to show the flag and be part of the coalition. They weren't allowed to do combat ops or anything.
What was the difference between warfare in Iraq and Syria?
It was pretty similar in my perspective. The biggest, no, it's not. Okay, Syria, you've got a lot of crazy players. Iraq was just Iraq.
Yeah.
You were fighting ISIS. Syria, you've got Russia, you've got Turkey, you've got the Kurds, you've got, because the Kurds are in Iraq too, but they're also up in Syria. I mean, you got Iranian influence. It was just,
Is
that was
Syria even a
really,
nation, or is it just the Wild West?
well, my perspective is it's a Wild West.
Yeah.
But you know, the Russians had a lot of. They wanted that route to get to the sea through there. They were supporting Assad. We were supporting the Syrian SDF, Syrian Defense Forces, which was like the guys against Assad. So if the Russians, we had like this little garrison that they couldn't get too close to. We ended up killing a bunch of Russians one time. And I remember I was like, "Whoa, this is going to be a world war." But the generals worked it out. They're like, "Okay, we told you not to get within this close of this garrison," and it was the craziest conversation. I was like, wow, I can't believe you guys just worked that out. That seems like
This is an
gonna be
act
a
of
big
war.
deal. Yeah. But the Russians didn't claim it. We didn't claim it. It was like weird.
And why is Syria such a choke point for like all these nations? Is it geographically like important?
Well, so you have sea access right there. They're also border with Iran.
Huh.
And then, you know, there's a lot of oil up
Yeah.
in that area too. I mean, Syria it's pretty strategically important. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the crossroads, I think the crossroads of the Middle East are actually Turkey, I think, because you look at Turkey, they speak all these different languages. The Turks are like pretty smart people, like
Yeah.
naturally, and they're just intelligent just because where they're at in the world. But yeah, Syria is pretty important, especially with the oil wealth.
Wow. So this experience for you is so many people, it would be like, man, I've hit this point in leadership. I'm overseeing all this. It's important. For you, it was, this isn't what I want to do.
Yeah.
Which goes back to why you love Jocko. He was a warrior,
Yeah.
and you didn't feel like a warrior anymore.
No, I didn't. Well, I mean, you need to be a warrior to lead warriors.
For
You
sure.
should be.
Yeah.
Not everyone is. You should be. So I was in a good place. I mean, I think I did a good job on that deployment.
Yeah.
But it wasn't what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
My heart wasn't there.
And how did your body start breaking down?
So when my hips went bad, I mean, I had lots of things happening. You know, my shoulder, I got a torn labrum and rotator cuff. I can work through that most of the time. But when my hips went bad, I could hardly walk.
And what does that mean they went bad?
So you've got this cartilage between the hips. I'm not a doctor, but
Yeah.
I ground it all out.
Yeah.
And basically, I think it's from carrying all that weight for all those years. Because I did, I mean, 14 straight years of combat deployments. Wasn't messing around. I was
Year
just
on, year
gone.
off, year on, year off.
Well, yeah, on your off year, you're
Yeah.
in a workup. It's
And you're
18-month
training.
workup. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're carrying all this weight. I think I just ground it all down. And the doctor was like, well, he's like, look, it's just pain. I'm like, okay, I can deal with that, until I couldn't sleep. So I would move and it would shoot this lightning bolt down my leg and it would wake me up. And all of a sudden I lost 17 pounds. My hair was all stringy. I just looked like crap because I couldn't sleep anymore.
Yeah.
And I had to get it done. And after I got that done, it just didn't grow back. Like, I think a lot of scar tissue. There's been some good programs I've done. I can walk pretty well now. I can jog if I want to, but I don't really that much. Everything I have left is for my son. You know, he have a 10-year-old.
Quality time with him.
It's for him. You know, if I need to run, I'll run on the rugby pitch with him.
Yeah.
I don't do jujitsu anymore. That was a jagged pill because I did jujitsu wrestling for 30 years. I mean, you know, that sucked. I missed that.
So your body's breaking down.
Yep.
And you are not able to be the warrior that you once were.
Yeah.
And was that when you kind of said, all right, it's time to put the paperwork in? And
It was that, and then also it was under. I don't want to be a political person. It was under the Biden administration.
Yeah.
I did not like what they did to the military.
Yeah.
They just
What did they do?
everything was an agenda. They forced the COVID shot on us. I thought that was wrong.
Yeah.
But you're in the military, you know, you got to do it. There also a lot of the things that they did with, I guess, alternate lifestyles that they were like, in the SEAL teams, they pushed us to like, they're like, we need to bring in, you know, the transgender and gay community. And so we had a SEAL turned transgender. And what you don't know is that guy's on meds the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And he can never deploy again.
Yeah.
Well, 9 out of 10 slots in SEAL team are deployable billets. So you only have a couple shore tour billets. So guys don't get a lot of shore tours. My first one was at year 15. So I had never been in a non-deploying billet. In the regular Navy, it's like you alternate deploying, non-deploying.
yeah.
So we only have one. That guy's going to camp in a non-deployable billet for the rest of his 5 years, and other guys can't get in there and do it. And he can't do the job because he's on estrogen and all that other stuff. And then when the teams came out and they said, we wish all of our people had the kind of bravery that so-and-so showed. And I was like, then you wouldn't have any teams. You wouldn't have a SEAL team. And then they pushed us to do recruiting at like transgender and gay events. It's just not really a fertile recruiting ground for us. There's not. I mean, I'm sure there's some, you know, tough gay dudes and tough transgender dudes out there, but it's not a fertile. We're putting all this money into those, and they force it. I saw it. I was there. I was like, this is stupid.
wow.
Yeah. Now they have done issues like that in the past it worked. Like we didn't have a large black representation in the SEAL teams.
Yeah.
For a long time, and I'm not going to be politically correct. I just think culturally, swimming is not something that happens a lot in that culture.
Dude, I've got a buddy. He's a 4-tour Iraq and Afghanistan veteran, former first sergeant.
Yeah.
And he looked at me with his big old, his name's Sylvester Jenkins, big old black dude,
Yeah,
huge
yeah.
beard. And we were up in Alaska launching our program up there.
Yeah.
And the place we were staying had a hot tub. And I said, hey, you want to hit the hot tub? He said, man, black people don't swim. He said, I've never even been in a hot tub. He'd never been in a hot tub. He was like 48 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I like made him come with me to the hot tub, and he's like, man, I kind of like this. I'm like, hey, you should try some water stuff more often, man.
Yeah. Well, they pushed us to like start recruiting and and that has been a great recruiting ground.
Yeah,
I
awesome.
mean, now we've got, if you look at like the pro sports, there's plenty of really athletic black dudes.
Yeah, for sure.
And they do really excel in the SEAL teams, if they have a background in water.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you're transitioning out. What was it like your first month where you're not reporting and you're not in anymore?
Man, I made a great transition, and I have to credit the guys at pray.com.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that for me because my whole last 2 years were surgeries. I had to get both hips done. I had to get my nose rebuilt because my nose had been broken so many times it looked like it was dripping off my face.
How'd your nose get broken?
Oh, fighting or something. Like
Fighting.
I'm in jiu-jitsu or
Yeah.
something. And I would just put it back myself. And
Yeah.
the doctor took a picture of me during my surgery, and he's like, how many times did you break your nose? I'm like, I think 7. He goes, who said it? I'm like, usually me. He goes, usually? I'm like, yeah, sometimes there's someone that can do it better than me. He goes, nobody ever did a good job setting your nose.
Oh,
So he had to put a cadaver bone in it. It used to be nice for jiu-jitsu because you could smash it. I wouldn't feel anything. And now it would hurt if I get hit in the nose.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're transitioning out. How did pray.com support you?
Okay, so I get some kind of Home Depot was like, hey, are you Jimmy Mann? I'm like, yeah. I was like, why? He's like, hey, well, my boss would like you to come speak at our at pray.com. I'm like, I don't do that.
Yeah.
He's like, well, Mark Hawes said you might. Mark Hawes, one of my jiu-jitsu buddies and a SEAL. I'm like, Mark Hawes said I might? Okay, then maybe I will. And so I went down there and I just did a little talk with them, and they're like, hey, we got to pay you. I'm like, you can't pay me.
Yeah.
That's not what I do. Yeah. I came because Mark Hawes wanted me to come. And they're like, well, what can we do for you? I'm like, well, and this was the best investment I've made myself ever. I was like, I need a mentor. Would you guys mentor me? Because I'm getting out in a few years and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's that mean? I'm like, it means, I don't know, we get a call once a week, and once a month, maybe we do a Zoom call. I talk to the CEO, Steve Katina, every single day. Every single day. I talk to the guy. We text, talk. He has been an amazing mentor, and he has just guided me through, this whole transition. And that's why I try to do it Beyond the Brotherhood for guys. Is that mentorship is so key. I made a really good transition.
Wow.
It was time for me to go.
Yeah.
And I left. I didn't look back. Well, other than Beyond the Brotherhood, when all my buddies started killing themselves, and I'm like, we got to do something. And so then I sparked up BTB.
So how long were you out before you started Beyond the Brotherhood?
I started before I got out.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And did you have the team's support in creating something like this?
The SEAL teams are.
Yeah.
I didn't look for it. I mean, it really, it's not I mean, yes, I need to be on the same page as NSW, helping them with their mission, but it's really about the guys,
And
the individual
NSW
guys.
is Naval Special
Naval
Warfare.
Special Warfare. Yeah. Thank you. So I had a group wanted to start a nonprofit to support. It was Puna Brava to support. They were building a golf course and they wanted to give back. Their benevolent thing was the SEAL teams. Well, when I started, they sparked me up. But then within 4 months of my retirement, 4 of my friends died by their own hand. 4, 1 a month, and I'm like, okay, it's one thing to give a guy a job. We've got to do something about this suicide thing. This is bad. I mean, I have never seen them break out the stats for SEAL teams. I'll bet we are 10 times our guys kill themselves, super high rate.
Wow.
And I was like, we got to do something.
So these 4 guys that killed themselves,
Yeah.
give me an example of one of them and what their situation was.
Okay. Mike Day.
Mike
Day was over in Iraq, got shot 27 times. They made entry. These guys had a full automatic machine gun. They peppered his body with bullets. The other guys fell back. They assume Mike's dead. They're getting ready to drop on the house. Mike comes to. He's all shot up in his good hand. He takes his off hand and his shot up SIG, kills the 3 guys, then calls on the radio like, hey, because he can hear the airstrike. He's like, hey, don't call the airstrike. I'm alive. Come get me. Everyone in here is dead. They went in there. They got him. They drug him out. He goes home. He recovers, gets back in the SEAL teams, retires. Then he's living on his own. He's going back and forth between 2 different hotels between the Best West. I know this because when he killed himself, the guy that was going to try and help, he called me. He's like, Jimmy, I know you've done a lot of this stuff before. What do we do?
What's he doing between the hotels?
He's living because you can live 9 weeks at a time. There's some like 9 weeks you can live before you have to move. So he's going between the Best Western and the Howard Johnson. And then he finally kills himself. And
is he on drugs? Is he struggling? Is he drinking?
He's just struggling. I'm sure he's drinking.
Yeah.
I think he was drinking and he was on drugs, but he was just struggling with everything.
And what was he struggling with?
Well, I know that. So when he used to be my neighbor, he had, or not next door, but across the street. And he had a family. Well, he lost his family.
Yeah.
And so he had a girlfriend, and I guess they were struggling. And so he was living in these hotels, and I'm sure he lost his house when he lost his family. And, he killed himself. It hit me hard.
Did he lose his identity leaving the SEALs?
I don't know if it's, I said for the young guys, that's what it is. For the older guys, I don't think that. I can't speak for Mike right now. Yeah. I think that what happened was traumatic brain injury is a real thing. You made fun of me for it the other day, even though I was on time and found my way here. just want to throw it
just
out
to be
there.
clear.
Yeah, just to be clear. But I think that your brain is a little bit beat up, and I think that most of us, we are like useful people.
Yeah.
We can solve problems. And when we start to feel like we're not useful, maybe it is part of your identity. You start to feel like you're not the same man. And I think that's what some of it is. Of course, other people make bad decisions. I know a guy killed himself because he got caught cheating on his wife, and there's an honor. We still live a bit of an honor code. Yeah. Which is not around these days, it seems like. And so guys were like, all right, I did this, atone for my sins, and they kill themselves. So that's what I think, but I don't know.
So you lose four of your brothers in a month, in 4 months. And then how'd you get the name Beyond the Brotherhood? And then what is Beyond the Brotherhood doing today?
So Beyond the Brotherhood, I was sitting with Brian Tucker, who was another mentor of mine that helped me get out, helped me make the transition. And he's like, what do you want to do? Because he was helping me start this nonprofit. And I was like, we need to do something to get guys set up for the next chapter, because when you get out, you have no network. You don't know anybody. Yeah. You don't even, all of our guys are like, I'll go in executive protection. I'm like, bro, if you want to be on the end of some rich guy's whip, that's what you're doing in the teams. Right. Like, you might as well stay in the teams. And they just don't, they have a stale degree. So when Brian asked me what I want to call it, I'm like, you know what, let's talk about the next step. I don't want to, everyone plasters Navy SEALs stickers all over stuff. I'm like, we don't want to do that. We want to be subtle. And the guys will get it. We'll just call it Beyond the Brotherhood. Wow. Yeah. Which I think fundraising wise, it would have been better to call us Navy SEAL something. Yeah. But
here you are.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah.
So what does Beyond the Brotherhood do?
Okay, so we screen and select Navy SEALs of character for the next mission in life. So when I say of character, not all SEALs are created equal. Like when you go to the team, you'll see there's a certain number of guys they send to combat every single time. Yeah. They're the best dudes. And they're the guys that get beat up. And they're the guys that kill themselves. It's the best guys. It sounds cliche. It is the top guys. And they're just beat up and they get out and they're not sure what to do. So we provide community purpose and goals for them. We started off with a personality assessment, because I want to get them out of the paradigm of like, hey, you have to carry a gun. Like, no, you can run. Our guys, most of them have master's degrees. Most of them are Ivy League guys. They know what they're doing. Yeah. They can run something. They just don't know they can. So we give them a personality assessment through Jay Harrison. He does only pro athletes and Navy SEALs. It's a great fit for us. He's a great personality for us. And so not only do you take the assessment, but once you get in, you can call him and be like, hey, go over this with me. And he will go over for like an hour. And then when you get a job, if you have a job offer, you can go over with him again. So it's a really personal, I'm not a big personality assessment guy. I like what he does. Yeah. Then after that, if you're going to go into real estate, you need a real estate license, we'll pay for your license. We'll introduce you to a mentor in the real estate space. We did that for Aaron Pena, and now he's working for Compass Real Estate. Ed Machowski's on our board now. He hired him. And I mean, we'll pair you up with a mentor, get you moving in that direction. Then I'm all about working with other benevolence too. The benevolent organization is cutthroat. You know it. I don't know. Am I for-profit? Easy. Yeah. Man, it's hard running a nonprofit because you can take my donors, and they're all kind of like standoffish. But we partner with a lot of SEAL Future Foundation, C4 Foundation. If I can't provide it, I don't need to rebuild what you've got. I can partner with them and then send our guys over to them. Then we have whatever kind of job training they need. We introduce them to our network. We do like these events So where we bring donors in who pay to be there. We'll drive Humvees, we'll jump out of planes, we'll do whatever they want to do. But we bring them in, and our guys get to mingle with them. And all of a sudden, they see our guys run it. I don't pay for people to run these things. We run it.
Yeah.
So our guys run it, and they see these guys being, in their zone, doing dangerous, complicated things and making it run smoothly. And I don't have a hard time getting guys jobs.
Fun.
Not at all. I
Wow.
mean, we took in, I meant to take in 3 my first year. We took in 23.
Wow.
And all those guys have jobs right now. Second year, I took in 22 before I ran out of money. And then right now we're closed for admissions. We've got some big fundraisers coming up. One right now is a march against to stop suicide, and that's going to be in Daytona Beach in April the 17th to the 22nd. I think we're going to reopen admissions after that. I've got a couple of other big ones coming up. So,
Wow.
It's a business. I can't take in more. I'm not going to take someone in and not be able to do anything for them.
Yeah. So, man, you lived this incredible career. You've trained, you've impacted, you're now giving back to that community. And even through all of this, like, faith is non-existent. When did it start kicking back up again?
Okay. God's been working on me for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in a Christian home. And then when I started my nonprofit, Beyond the Brotherhood, I screen and select seals of character. You know who most of those guys are? They're Christians. My staff, they're all Christians. Who's my mentors? Pray.com.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden I'm surrounded in this just good, godly men. My camera guy, Eli Page, solid Christian, young guy. I ended up meeting a girl who I've known for a super long time, 23 years. And she was amazing. She's just amazing. I'm so grateful to have her in my life. She's Christian. And, I decided, like, look at all these things. God, I mean, I'm a hard case.
Yeah.
And God put all these things in my life at one time. And it's just been a really powerful thing. And I'm just so grateful. I feel like a baby Christian.
Yeah.
Right now. So she and I do a Bible study every single morning. We missed this morning because I worked late last night. And then once a week we do it with my mom. And looking at the Bible through my eyes now is so much more interesting and better. Because when I was a kid, I'm like, I got to go to church and learn this story.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, whoa, we're going through Matthew. Dude, Jesus was crazy.
Yeah.
He was crazy. I mean, the stuff he was doing and just mouthing off to people. And like back then,
He's a rebel, dude.
yeah, man, he was a big time rebel. But then also he would take in people that you wouldn't think. We just covered the centurion. When the centurion came to him in Matthew and asked, he's like, hey, will you heal my servant? And I'm like, dang. And Jesus was like, Jesus marveled. God doesn't marvel at dudes.
Yeah.
Jesus marveled. And I'm like, dang, for a guy to just look at things for what they are. And he blew off the cultural norms and everything else. He's like, that is amazing faith.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's the kind of guy I want to be. And it's just, he stood up for things, and I just really am grateful that he stuck by me for all these things. And,
Wow.
My mom was just overjoyed
Yeah.
that I'm back in the fold. And I mean, she was in tears. She's like, I just can't believe all these years of prayers, and
Has worked.
I'm just happy. Yeah. I'm just really happy where I'm at. So, my life's not in pieces, but things are a lot different. My first 2 kids, I didn't know them. They're great kids. One's in medical school. One's, finishing up college, going to be a vet. I didn't know them. I was gone 300 days a year for 14 straight years. But God has shown me favor.
Yeah.
He has shown me favor, and I've squandered most of it, I have to say. He made me strong. He made me be able to figure things out. Things work out for me, and he has always shown me favor. And it's about time that I recognize that and kind of get off that ego trip that I've been on for so long. So,
One last question. When it comes to, as you've been getting to know who Jesus is, what's one thing about him that makes you go, this is why I want to follow him?
I think I just said it a minute ago, which is he sees things for what they are, and he makes the call. He's not worried about cultural norms. He's not worried about, what other people are going to think. He does what he knows is right. I mean, he's God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've just been, that to me was, I think someone standing up in the face of all that stuff, it just means a lot to me.
Bold courage.
It's powerful. Yeah, it's powerful. I appreciate a warrior, and I think God appreciates warriors. My girl Kat and I were going through Psalms right now.
Yeah.
And David, I feel like, I'm I'm not the warrior David was, you know what I mean? But David was always favored by God.
Yeah.
And I feel that. I feel like God has favored me. And, you know, I haven't given him his due like David did. So
It's time.
it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother.
Let me pray for you.
Yep.
Father, just thank you for Jimmy. God, thank you for all you've brought him through for a purpose. And God, I just declare over his life that where he's at right now, he's just scratching the surface of all that you have for him. And Father, I pray that not one of his experiences would be for waste or for naught, but you would work it all together for your good and for your glory, and that you would use this man to be a light for you and your love to this world. God bless him, heal every area of his body and his mind and his heart, and be with him through the challenges that he's still facing, and give him that courage that you have, Jesus. Amen. Thanks, dude.
Thanks.